Do you think backlinks or adding content can revive a site that is heavily damaged by Google updates? Would you just scrap and start another? Absolutely 100% yes. What does that sound? Do you have a, I think that's Nick. I think we lost Nick. There
I'm
you go.
back.
Okay. What
Hello.
happened there?
Okay. Internet connection issue. It does it every once in a
That was
while.
weird.
Maybe
It
switch
was
the
making some
router
weird
out.
noise at me. I thought that the call completely dropped. Anyway, we'll start this one over real quick. Um,
Okay.
So, do you think backlinks or adding content can revive a site that is heavily damaged by Google updates? Would you just scrap and start another? To answer the first question, do you think backlinks and adding content can revive a site? Absolutely, 100% yes. Um, the things would have to be pretty
Well,
extreme.
depending on the extent of the
Yeah, things would have to
damage.
be pretty extreme for me to want to completely scrap it. Generally, if it's a site that I'm doing, things are not going to be that extreme, so it'd be pretty much recoverable. But maybe you're working on like a client site, or maybe you took over a site, or I don't know what the situation would be. But basically, you didn't build it from scratch, so maybe things might be a little bit different. Um, but yeah, I mean, so generally, if we want to revive a site that's been hit by some kind of like algo update or whatever, which we see pretty often, especially in our managed link building program, where we basically just take care of backlinks for people. Um, I mean, that's exactly what we're doing. We're generally adding lots of very natural links, so links from real sites, like no PBNs or anything like that. So we're doing like guest posts and niche edits, usually high authority, as relevant as we can get them, and usually linking to the homepage with very natural anchors, right? URL anchors, branded anchors, generic anchors. And then, we'll tell the client as well, since we don't handle anything else. We tell them, you should, new content is always good, or revitalizing your old content. Um, these are always good things. So supernatural, high authority links to the homepage, and adding new content, revitalizing old content is exactly how we, in general, of course, there can be other situations where they have a specific problem, like maybe their anchor profile is complete garbage and needs to be diversified or something. But in general, that's like where we basically start at, right? You there, Nick? Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
do you have anything to add to that?
Well, yeah, like we said early on, it's going to depend on the extent of the damage done to the website. A lot of people give up way too early, and some people keep pushing way too late. Depending on what the link profile is going to look like and what exactly you mean by it was heavily damaged by Google updates, like did it get a penalty? Was it a slap? How hard was that slap? And is it based off of, misused anchors? Is it, a heavily spammed site historically? And then even still, you can get into things like sometimes the revival of the site is by starting something new and using it as a 301, or sometimes it's 301ing through a buffer, or like you said, you can kind of restructure what you're doing, go after new content campaigns and prod with backlinks to try and revive a site. And in my experience, even when a site has been de-indexed, and I've held on to sites for close to a year before with content without actually reaching out to Google, though you can reach out to Google and get good results if you've kind of painted the picture properly and get something reindexed. But even just holding a site, maybe transferring to a new registrar, getting new hosting set up, rebuilding what looks like something more natural, and then even just starting a little link building campaign, a lot of people would have considered dead. Um, all of this is going to be based on, what you think you can do. Without looking at a link profile, it's kind of hard to tell you what I would do in a given. But like Chris said, in MLB, We see people all the time who have not gotten an actual penalty, but did get slapped during a new algo update. And, just by being natural with what we're doing, we're able to revive that site's rankings. And so,
It takes time
yeah,
though.
in my
It takes
opinion, there's
time.
never a completely lost
Just
cause.
be
Yeah,
aware that
it
it
does.
does take time and it does take money, right? Content. I mean, I guess you could write it all yourself. That time is the same as money, really, in a sense. And then
Yeah.
links. Whether you're going through a provider like us or doing them yourself, it's usually going to cost money too. Or lots of time, creating
Yeah.
some kind of crazy content and really marketing it. Both are essentially money. So it's either going to take a good amount of time or a good amount of money. So another thing you probably want to look at is you basically have to assess the damage and say, okay, here's where I'm at. You know, let's say the site has like 2000 RD and it's just complete trash, right? Then it's going to be pretty hard to turn that thing around since it's got such a high amount of basically toxic link building that's been done to it, right?
Hmm.
Or maybe the site itself, maybe the content and just the amount of work that the site would take. I don't know. But you basically just need to assess the situation and say, okay, is the juice going to be worth the squeeze here, or should I just start with maybe on a new expired or a new age domain or something, or even completely fresh. But yeah, so it's going to kind of depend on your budget basically in a sense as well. Anything else, Nick?
No, I guess one thing to add, for me personally, with any of my projects, I've never scrapped a project unless I was purposefully spamming it, which I haven't done in a long, long time. So I don't know. If you're building things properly, this is typically a question that you don't have to ask, but maybe if you're hunting for age domains and you see something you like that's got some good quality backlinks, but maybe a kind of shady history or like a sketchy history, right? Um, yeah, you can, like Chris said, you're gonna have to assess it and decide, where your threshold is, because hypothetically you can just keep looking for a new domain and find something that's completely clean, right?
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. Be sure to check the description below for links to our blog for more info on this topic, along with a bunch of other cool stuff like case studies, our Facebook community, and our link building services. And like always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell if you enjoyed the video. Thanks and happy ranking.